GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network. You're listening to the Better Live Than Dead podcast on the Gear Radio Network.
And with that, we welcome you to the Better Live Than Dead podcast, powered by Better Live Than Dead and the Gear Radio Network. This is episode 167.
167. Awesome.
I'm a pretty big fan of that one because it is the Super Bowl 54 recap cast. Now, before we get started here, you can hear us on BetterLiveThanDead.com, GearNetwork.com, Apple Podcasts, Bullhorn, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, the Radio.com app, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. I am Ryan Wolfe at Wolfe BLTD, joined on the IndyCar Media Hotline by Mr. Perez at MRLG Perez. Lewis, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, bro. Doing awesome. I'm, finishing up. I got done with work. I'm on my way home. Driving back from Binghamton. I got a cigar lit, relaxing, doing the podcast.
Sounds like a good day at the office.
Wasn't bad.
Now, speaking of not bad, man, just to jump right in, Super Bowl 54 was badass.
It was a good game, bro.
Now we are, I was going to say we are a week away. I forgot to update the intro, so I'm just going to wing it. The Super Bowl took place last weekend at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. The Kansas City Chiefs defeated the San Francisco 49ers 31-20 in one of the most interesting Super Bowls we've had in some time. Now, our three big things brought to you by FortunePhoto.com. Statistically speaking, here we are, our first of the three big things today. First off, as mentioned, 31-20, the final score. It was the second largest comeback in Super Bowl history. Kansas City down 20-10. Andy Reid, it was his 222nd career victory. That is regular season and playoffs combined. It is his first Super Bowl victory as a head coach. He is now 1-1 in the big game. And Lewis, his 222nd win came on 2/22/20. How adorable. How are you feeling about Andy Reid finally reaching the promised land?
Listen, man, I'm happy for him. He's been in the league for a long time. He's I think he was the longest tenured coach without a Super Bowl win. I was happy for him. Of course, we did the the pre-Super Bowl, and I picked the Chiefs. So I'm happy he won because that means the Chiefs won.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling about it?
I know that I selected the 49ers to win. And for a while there, it looked like they were going to win, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. But the Kansas City Chiefs did the damn thing. They've been doing the damn thing this whole postseason. And it's really almost like Patrick Mahomes has taken it the next step into superstardom, which right here, I've got a boatload of stats. Hear me out on this one, Lewis. Future Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes, which now that's no longer tongue-in-cheek. That's legit. He was 26 of 42 in the game, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, with 9 rushes for 29 yards and 1 touchdown. Named the Super Bowl MVP. The youngest player, Patrick Mahomes, the youngest player to win the NFL MVP and Super Bowl. The second youngest player to win the Super Bowl MVP, or the second player to win the Super Bowl MVP before turning 25. Only Tom Brady did that back with the Patriots in 2002. At 24 years and 138 days old, Mahomes is the third youngest Super Bowl MVP in NFL history, only behind Oakland's Marcus Allen and Pittsburgh's Lynn Swann. And also, Mahomes 5-0 when trailing by 10 or more points this season, the most double-digit comeback wins by any quarterback in a season in NFL history. Also, Mahomes is the first quarterback in NFL history to lead a comeback in all 3 playoff games in a single postseason. He has been absolutely special this postseason. He's been absolutely special since he entered the league. But now, Lewis, he's taken one giant step forward into superstardom.
Oh, absolutely. If he continues to play this way, there's the sky is basically the limit. If you keep that team around him, they can win another couple Super Bowls. I mean, he cemented his grit. He cemented his toughness. He doesn't blink. You know, if they're behind, he doesn't blink. You can't get him to flinch. You know, when the Niners went up 2010, my dad was like, "Oh, the game's over," and I was like, "No, it's not." I was like, "This is the type of you know, this is what Patrick Mahomes likes. He likes coming from behind. This is what he does." And sure enough, he started leading that comeback, and well, now we know the rest is history. So he's going to be something special if he can stay healthy.
I mean, I think honestly, right now he already is something special. I mean, it just depends. Will he be an all-time great, or will he just be one of the greatest players of his time? I mean, it's still early, right, but everything he has done in his career so far has been spectacular. And I know I saw a funny tweet. I can't remember who said it, but a 10-point deficit is like a tie game for the Chiefs this postseason, and really all the time, because their offense is so explosive and their defense does just enough, which they did on Sunday in the Super Bowl. Speaking of Mahomes, though, I know there's a lot of betting, obviously, on the Super Bowl. Here's something interesting. Patrick Mahomes entered Kansas City's final possession with 44 rushing yards, the over on that bet. Mahomes kneeled on 3 straight plays, losing 15 yards. Mahomes finished the game with 29 rushing yards, the under. Jeff Davis, director of trading for Caesar Sportsbook, said, quote, "That was close to a 6-figure swing in favor of the house." Per ESPN, quote, "Out of the hundreds of proposition wagers offered by William Hill U.S. Sportsbooks, more money was bet on the over on Mahomes' rushing yards than was bet on any other market. 75% of the bets and 68% of the money wagered on prop was on the over. So the sportsbooks made out like crazy on that final drive with Patrick Mahomes losing 15 rushing yards.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In some places have refunded the money that was bet because it's kind of crappy, but other places have said, "Hey, that's betting, man."
That is betting. You make a bet. You win, you lose. If I made money, if I bet on it, and then I end up losing because of that last drive, well. That's what I get for making a bet.
It's a terrible way to lose, but you're right. You win, you lose, you lose. Now, Lewis, I want to ask you this, because we're talking about winning. Is the Madden curse now finally dead? Patrick Mahomes, the second player in Madden history to win a Super Bowl in the same season he appeared in the Madden cover, and the first player to actually win the Super Bowl while playing in the game, gracing the Madden cover, because Rob Gronkowski, former New England Patriot tight end, was on Madden 17, the 2016 season, but only played 8 regular season games due to injury, but still got a ring because he was a part of the team. So has Patrick Mahomes not only set history on the field, but has he created history off the field by finally killing the Madden curse?
I don't think so. Because have you seen Antonio Brown lately? I think the Madden
but I'm saying like in the past the Madden curse was a thing, but now we'll have to find out who's on the cover of Madden next year, I would presume, right, and see if they have the same luck.
Yeah, if it doesn't affect the person next year, maybe. I kind of feel like
if not, I mean, maybe Pat Mahomes just transcended the Madden curse.
Yeah, well,
I think we lost you there, Lewis. You're roboted. Repeat that, Lewis. I lost you there.
I said I think the curse went so hard at Antonio Brown that they decided to take a season off.
Look at this is something that we can't say now because we don't know. So this is all prediction time. You know, I think that I like the whole Madden curse thing. It's a lot of fun to follow. I mean, as long as your favorite team's player is not on there. But I don't know who they'd put on the cover now. It might just be maybe they'll do something completely different next year. Maybe Patrick Mahomes is back on the cover next year. Who knows? But I like the narrative that it's dead for sure. It's a fun one.
Keep in mind, Patrick Mahomes did get hurt earlier this season.
He did, but he overcame that and then won the Super Bowl.
Right. So maybe
there's him fighting back, taking down the man.
Maybe it just decided to hit early this season. And he was able to come back from it.
We'll have to keep tabs on it next season. Now, moving on to our second of the 3 big things, our Super Bowl 54 Super Bowl Liv Tyler review of the preview. Now, I was looking at last week's podcast, and I remember what we talked about. And I'll be damned if we didn't nail it. We don't call ourselves the best podcast in the land for nothing, folks. If you listen to the podcast, which damn it, you should be, you went into the Super Bowl 54 with some thoughts on your mind of, okay, if this happens, Kansas City will win. If this happens, San Francisco will win. And guess what? We nailed both of those last week. So looking back,
that's right.
We said, if San Francisco can get KC down early, they have to go for the kill shot. Guess what happened? Kansas City was down 20-10 in the fourth quarter. The 49ers had the shot, could have gone for the kill shot, could have put them away, ended up being outscored 21-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yep, they didn't go for that kill shot.
And that, my friends, killed them. The next one. If Kansas City shuts down the run, can Jimmy Garoppolo win the game with his arm? The answer turned out to be no. San Francisco combined 22 rushes, 141 yards, and 1 touchdown. San Francisco running back Raheem Mostert had 12 carries for 58 yards and a touchdown. The surprise of the game, San Francisco wide receiver Deebo Samuel put the ball in the hands of your best players. They did that with Deebo Samuel. 3 carries for 53 yards. Now, Garoppolo, 20 for 31, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. After they led 20-10, San Francisco called 13 pass plays and 4 rushes. In those 13 pass plays, Garoppolo 3 for 11 for 36 yards and an interception. Now, I know people are going to dog on Kyle Shanahan because he just so happens to be a part of 2 of the biggest comebacks in Super Bowl history. Remember, he was the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator when they lost that 20-3 lead and blew the Super Bowl. And then obviously this year with San Francisco losing to the Kansas City Chiefs. But on this one, it was not bad play calling. It really just came down to a pure lack of execution. It seemed like when Jimmy Garoppolo had the game on the line, the game on his arm, he just couldn't execute properly. And that led to Kansas City just absolutely steamrolling the 49ers in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can't. I don't think you can fully put this on the coach this time. You're right. I mean, Garoppolo, he had a really good first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, he couldn't do anything.
I feel like he did enough. Like every other game this year in the postseason, he's done enough to put his team in a position to win. I think the defense was playing bend. The defense definitely was bend but don't break type of situation. But
absolutely.
at the end of the day, they can only do so much, and they needed Jimmy Garoppolo to bail them out, and it just didn't work.
Nope.
Not to mention, it's the worst team. It's the worst team in the league to continue to give possessions to because they can score at ease, which they did.
Yeah, it looked like the Chiefs' defense really picked it up in that last quarter. I mean, they were definitely getting to him a little bit more. They stopped the passing. They should have ran some more because they were getting gashed on the run, and they didn't call that many run plays in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at it just really seemed like when they had Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball as many times as he did in those 13 pass plays after leading 20-10 in those 4 rushes, it almost seemed like when they called on him, he just wasn't ready for it or wasn't ready to answer the bell, which happens. I mean, it happens to the best of us. But the thing about the 49ers that's absolutely crazy is they'll be back. I mean, this was them making it to the Super Bowl and being so dominant was probably a year or 2 early because they have a lot of very good young players on very team-friendly deals. They've got Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, it's not a team-friendly deal because he got paid, but they've got Jimmy Garoppolo under contract. They've got a great run game, a great line, a great defensive line, a great secondary. They'll be back. They may stumble a little next season, but they will be back for sure. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think we've seen the last of the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl representing the NFC.
I hope we do.
Well, I know personally you do not like them, but
no, not at all.
I don't think, like I said, they are too good. They are leaps and bounds better than the rest of the NFC, I think. And obviously they will go out and get better, which is terrifying. because they've got so many talented offensive weapons and so many talented defensive weapons. How can this team possibly get better? They'll probably find a way.
Yeah, they probably will, and that is kind of the scary part. But the same token, the Chiefs too, and that's scary to think about also.
I mean, the Chiefs can be around for a long time just because they have Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
that's true.
If you can score at will, you'll be in any game, as we've seen over the years. And I mean, at this point, I certainly think that they will be back in the argument or in the conversation. I don't know. I said argument. They'll be in the conversation next year for the AFC top spots. But you've got to remember there are a lot of up and coming teams. So we'll see how it plays out. Kansas City again. They can enjoy it. They won the Super Bowl. Not Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
Hi, our president's a moron. Anyways, moving over to our third of the three big things.
I wasn't going to say it. I'm glad you did.
I'm glad I did too. It makes me feel a lot better. Moving over to the third of the three big things this week, some prop bet results. The national anthem, Demi Lovato absolutely brought it, and she also brought it under the 2 minutes, a minute 50. The over-under for total points, 51 total points, hit the under. Alex Rodriguez, I didn't see him at halftime. I don't know. I didn't really watch that. I drank a couple White Claws.
They showed him one time.
Then the over. That was the over then, because the under, it was 0.5 was the over-under. This is a fun one. We'll do that one last, actually. The Gatorade color.
Well, hold on a second. They showed him from the back.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know how that one would work out then.
Right. They showed him from the back. Like, you could tell it was A-Rod from the back. So, yeah, I don't know. Does that count?
Although his transformation from total dickhead to total fan favorite in just overall favorite person, he's made quite the transition. I saw him on Twitter during the Super Bowl, running around on the field, recording videos. So proud of J-Lo. I'm like, man, where was this guy when he played baseball? Because he was a prick.
Yeah, he was. I couldn't stand him, and he was on the Yankees, and I still couldn't stand him.
I think the proper terminology for that is horse's ass. That's what he was.
Pretty much.
Now, the final fun prop bet. Higher total points, San Francisco's points from Sunday's game, or Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans, his point, assist, and rebound total from Sunday's game. Zion won that one. He had 32 combined, 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist. I thought that was a pretty fun prop bet. But that really does it. That puts a bow on the football season, on our coverage for the season. We've been with you from before the season, not only with Better Live Than Dead, but with Trust the Podcast as well. And now we're looking ahead, Lewis. We've got some big sports coming up. UFC 247 is this weekend. John Jones, 25-1-0 with 1 no contest, defends his light heavyweight championship against the undefeated Dominic Reyes. Jones last fought July 6, 2019, defeating Thiago Santos via split decision. And then Reyes' biggest name that he's defeated will be Chris Weidman, whom he defeated in his most recent fight on October 18th, 2019. So John Jones again faces another potent opponent, but I don't see John Jones losing until he actually gets defeated, which I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, John Jones is an absolute monster. Obviously he went through some stuff, but his first fight back, he looked a little rusty, but he's been looking better. And yeah, I mean, the guy he's facing is pretty nice. I think it'll be a good fight.
I think so too. I mean, John Jones still has the reach advantage. He still is the champion. So it's one of the situations too, where when you are the champion in the UFC, you can kind of use that as a crutch, where unless you get completely dominated, they're not going to take that title away from you.
No. I mean, I can see him winning this fight.
I absolutely agree with that one. And our second of the three big things, not the three big things, the second of our look ahead this week, baseball is back. Less than 10 days, pitchers and catchers report. I can't believe it, man. But baseball is almost back.
You know what? Yeah, it's kind of weird to talk about. The baseball is almost back. It'll be fun watching preseason. It'll be fun watching preseason baseball while watching the XFL. I'm looking forward to some of the sports that's coming up. I'm a happy guy.
I'm not complaining. Hockey's still deep in the throes of their season. Like I said, I'm just looking forward to baseball. I'm not looking forward to the Boston Red Sox trading Mookie Betts likely to the Los Angeles Dodgers because now they are piss poor apparently and don't have any money, which whatever. We'll see how that one works out. But the one thing I wanted to mention here on the podcast that dropped today is that the BBWAA voted in December 2016 for all ballots to be made public, but we will not be finding out whom the writer was that didn't vote for Derek Jeter. So
really,
yeah, that's kind of stupid, I think, but I guess that man probably doesn't want some death threats because there are some very stupid people out there, and someone, at least one person, would probably threaten him or her.
Yeah, I was going to say, they probably want that person to live, you know what I'm saying? Like, that person will get death threats, because that's what a sport fan does. Sport fan takes it too far, and, I always say, like, when I talk about the Yankees, I always say we or my team or whatever, but I have nothing to do with them. They don't know me from Adam, so, and I would never make a threat against someone about sports because I'm not that person. As much as I think if you
take sports that seriously, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So
you've got to be able to. This is a conversation I've actually had recently. You've got to be able to remove yourself from. Like, I love the Red Sox, but if I'm going to have a conversation about how I think what the Red Sox are doing with trading Mookie Betts to the Dodgers potentially, I mean. I can remove myself from the argument of being a Red Sox fan and just speak as a baseball fan, as a sports mind, and tell you I think it's a terrible idea, or it's a good or bad. Or if you ask me, we've always mentioned this on the podcast. You ask me about the Yankees, or if you ask me about the Patriots, or if you ask me about the Boston Bruins or whatever, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And there's no point in sugarcoating it, because if I'm going to sit here and give you my biased opinion about how, the Red Sox are the greatest team, they're going to win the World Series this year. No, they're probably not. That's boring. I don't listen to podcasts for stuff like that. I listen to podcasts for straight down the line. Give me the truth. Hit me with the facts. Not give me your BS opinion. Because at the end of the day, unless you have facts, nobody cares.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean,
I'll get off my soapbox.
I can't stand. Right. I appreciate that. I can't stand the Red Sox, but getting rid of Mookie Betts is a terrible idea. Why would you do that? Why would you trade him? That's one of the better players. That might be the best player in baseball right now, next to Mike Trout.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he's. I mean, stats don't lie. He's the second best right fielder, or second best outfielder in the game, second best player in the game. And again, you look at it and you're just like, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I get why they want to get under the salary cap. I get why they want to not pay the luxury tax for the umpteenth year in a row and kind of reset. But what are you going to do? Trade Mookie Betts now and then offer him? I mean, because they reportedly are off by over $100 million. But what are you going to do? Offer him a $400 million deal next December? I don't get it.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I don't get it either. But at the same token, contract asking prices right now are ridiculous. To be off by $100 million.
I get that, but it's fair market value. If Mike Trout is the best player in the game and he's getting X amount, and you are the second best player in the game, you should get close to that X amount. It's fair market value. I mean, it's like any other business. I understand that it's crazy that they've gotten that high, and I don't disagree. But it's like basketball. Why did basketball contracts go through the roof? Because they had a new they had an influx of income from new TV deals that helped push up the salary cap. And if that's what's going to happen with baseball, and they're going to be able to pay players, 15, 16% of the salary cap, then go for it. But I don't necessarily think it's a great idea. But then again, having Mookie Betts on your team, you're probably better off than not, no matter how much you're paying him.
Yeah, no, you're definitely better off. But like, where's the ceiling? Where does it stop? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. When teams like the Red Sox are crying poor, it doesn't make any sense to me, because at this point, if you have a player who wants $400 million, maybe he'll get $350, because that really right now, they say it's $100 million, but that separate the Red Sox and Mookie Betts. But when it comes down to it, it's the Red Sox offered 30 a year. He wants 35 a year. That's really the difference. But who's going to be willing to pay him $35 million a year? I don't know. Can any of the smaller market teams afford that? Probably not. But I don't know. That's kind of the weird thing about where baseball is going, is that we haven't seen a financial influx like this where a lot of players are getting paid a lot of money and teams are going to be investing, like we said, a fifth of their salary cap or whatever. I don't think that's the right number. It's not the right number, but 15% or whatever of their salary cap to one player. Granted, he may be the guy that is one of the greatest of all time or the greatest of his era right now. But again, it's crazy. It's crazy to see. It's crazy to try to comprehend it all.
Oh yeah. 15, you're giving a large chunk of your salary cap to one player. That's just silly.
I think if nothing else, it just tells you that the collective bargaining agreement is broken and they probably need to find a way to fix it, because you have players under team control for so long. And then by the time they've hit their prime, you're finally paying them. But those players want to be paid for what they've done, not what they're going to do. And then if you pay a guy $100 million and he doesn't pan out to be anything, now you're cash strapped and now you've kind of hurt yourself and hurt it's just it's so difficult to figure out, because you almost likely would want to pay younger players sooner. So that way, at least you're getting your money's worth and you're not causing yourself any trouble. But I don't know. The collective bargaining agreement in baseball, I really do think is broken, and it certainly needs some repairing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. 100%.
But with that being said, though, baseball is only a couple days away,
which is beautiful.
It's absolutely awesome. Pitchers and catchers report. But after that, we're going to have position players reporting. Then we'll have preseason games, spring training games. Then we'll have regular season games. And before you know it, the sun won't be going down until 7:00 at night.
I've missed baseball.
I have too. I mean, last year I kind of tuned it out because the Red Sox were not great. But I think I'm ready to accept baseball back into my life.
That's nice. That's nice. You open your heart again.
I'm trying because baseball, like I said, has kind of lost its luster to me these last handful of years. So we'll give it the old college try again.
100, man. You got to give it a college try. It's a great sport, man. I love it.
I love baseball so much, but it's just like, you love something for so long and kind of grow out of love, and you got to kind of give it a little time to take a step back and say, you know what? Why do I like baseball? But I think I'm getting back there. I think I'm getting back there. So with that being said, though,
take a break.
Absolutely. Take some time off, relax, and come back. Hopefully the Red Sox won't be shitty again. But with that being said, Lewis, I gotta pop my story back up here in front of my face. I think that's a good time to wrap the podcast up.
Hold on a second.
Hey, I was going to let you have your time. You say what you got to say.
We're not going to talk about the halftime show?
I totally forgot to write that down. You tell me, how'd you feel about that?
Dude, I thought the halftime show was great. I thought it was fantastic. Last year, we had that group.
Maroon 5?
Yeah, thank you. Right there. I couldn't remember the name. Last year's halftime show was super boring. And, dude's running around with his shirt off, and, there was no real big uproar. Then you get these two hot Hispanic chicks, and people are like losing their minds. Like, I thought this was supposed to be family friendly. Like, I'm enjoying it. Shut the freak up. Like,
I can't wait. I can't wait for the FCC complaints to come out regarding, because those will be hilarious.
Maybe, but they didn't really show much. I mean, it wasn't like the Janet Jackson debacle. There was no wardrobe malfunction, unfortunately. But listen, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. There was a lot of hidden things put in there that I don't think people really got. I enjoyed when J-Lo broke out the Puerto Rican flag with the American flag on the other side. That girl that was singing was her daughter. I thought that was really cool. J-Lo looks great for being 50. And listen, for being 43, Shakira is incredible. I thought it was enjoyable. There was some people on Twitter who were like, why are they singing in Spanish? I thought this was America. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Sorry, I didn't mean to actually use the F word like that, but
I think that's the first time in a long time you've sworn on the podcast.
Yeah, well, last week I called that dude. I swore last week, but it was a smaller swear, you could say. So yeah, like that type of thing. I knew it was going to happen because people are freaking ridiculous. Just sit back and enjoy watching these two really hot, really talented people just entertain you. I loved it. I thought it was a great halftime show.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Shakira. And I think Jennifer Lopez is fantastic. I think they're both very talented, incredibly talented. But again, I can't wait. I know last year people were writing the FCC about Adam Levine's nipples. I can only imagine what this year's going to bring.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. But yeah, whatever. Shut up. I enjoyed it.
Who cares? It was great.
It was great.
Now, with that being said, we can tip the cap toward you to end episode 167, the Super Bowl 54 Super Bowl Liv Tyler recap cast. Lewis is at MRLG Perez. I am Ryan Wolfe at Wolf BLTD. As always, Lewis, we got to tell him we are better live than dead.
You're not.
We will catch you sometime very soon. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. And check us out on all the podcast apps and websites and all that stuff. And keep on tuning in. We'll catch you soon.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Do you like sports, interactive polls, friendly banter from two guys that probably shouldn't even be on the microphone doing this stuff anyways? Well, if you do, then you're in luck. Us two knuckleheads, Brandon and myself, comprise the Listen In Podcast. That's right, Listen In, the podcast. We're talking sports, we're talking news, we're talking topical things, we're talking all sorts of things, my babies. And you are all invited to listen in right here on the Gear Radio Network.